You're watching the number one podcast in the whole entire YouTube wrestling community. And I'm one of your hosts, Wanzo.
And I'm your other host, Jean-Paul Leek.
And together we are
Raw Break.
How's every single one of you in Facebook and also on YouTube? Thank you for being with us one more time. Time to talk about Smackdown, a pretty good show though. You know, remember last week we said like it's bullshit. We don't like what happened. Like they had like, you know, like kind of like pilot mode. Nope, this was actually weak. They gave us a little bit more storytelling. Also, like, you know, new character for Baron Corbin maybe. Really great last man standing match. A few more matches announced for Money in the Bank. Pretty good show.
Yeah, overall, you know, this was a pretty enjoyable episode for SmackDown. They had some really good segments. You know, we saw some returns. You know, we heard some good promos, saw some good matches, but we also heard some bad promos and saw, you know, some bad matches and, you know, some bad storytelling. So this was by no means a perfect show, but I do agree it was better than last week. They built off the momentum, everything. Of course, everybody wanted to hear what was going to happen with Edge, and they, you know, kind of just built the show around that and everything else. A lot of it was good, and we'll talk about the bad and, you know,
and everything else. We're going to be, you know, dissecting. We're going to be like returns, everything right here on Raw Break. Thank you, family, for being with us one more time. You know, join us on Facebook, on YouTube. You know, signed up. You know, we're just best podcast right there. And also, like, join us here for the video, like, of NXT UK. Bea Priestley, or in this case, Blair Davenport, has arrived to NXT. And also, like, a great match. Jordan Devlin, A-Kid, you know, Meiko Satomura, kind of, she has her first opponent is in the case of Amel. So, like, tell me a little bit about it, Paul.
Yeah, you know, the main event match, you know, was fantastic match. Like we said, it started out wrestling, then it went to the submissions, then it went to let's just beat the hell out of each other, because how else is anybody going to win this match? And, you know, it was great. And like we said, we saw the previous week, Ilya and Walter. So, you know, they're kind of really fleshing out, you know, their mid-card, their main event, their women's division, and you know where this show's going to go. You know where it's leading, and, you know, but there's a lot of stuff that's still up in the air. So NXT UK, we always say it each and every week, you know, the best brand in wrestling.
Well, actually, yeah, you're absolutely right. So please watch that video. You know, thank you, everybody, one more time. So let's start with, like, the beginning of the show. Opened up by the Rated R Superstar. He had come back last week. And, you know, he was addressing Roman Reigns. It was official. They made the Universal Championship match for Money in the Bank. He and Roman Reigns singles match finally, unless Daniel Bryan decides not to have that. He joins reinsert himself. But, like, what do you think about this promo from Edge?
Yeah, I mean, this was really good. He pretty much said, you know, I could come out here and I can make all these excuses because it was 10 years to the day, you know, that I was, you know, challenging for the title that I never lost. I was forced to give up. And he's like, you know, it would have been something to win it, but it didn't happen. And like he said, it could have made all these excuses that Daniel Bryan submitted himself in the match that, you know, he didn't deserve because Edge won the Royal Rumble. And he's like, you know, Roman, you know, when I hit you with that spear and Bryan pulled me out of the ring, he's like, your shoulders were stapled to the mat. You weren't getting up. You know, I could complain about that, but and he pretty much said the complaints wouldn't get him anywhere. And that's not how he works. He's not a complainer. He's at the 2006 Edge would. But that's not him anymore. He's going to come back, and he's going to be legit, and he's going to get that one-on-one match with Roman, and he's going to win.
They're really good. You know, I love that, you know, what Edge was saying. I love that, like, he's still, you know, like, really confident on himself, like you said. And he says about Daniel Bryan, he's like, I knew what it was going to happen. And the good thing about it is, like, also how he mentions, like, he's like, I know, Roman, that, like, you know I can beat you, and you know, and I know it. And he says, you know, like, I can show you. I even got footage.
Yeah.
And then we get to see, like, this face. So, like, tell me.
Yeah, I mean, this was good. I love when he's like, you know, those are the eyes of a man who is, you know, scared. And pretty much he's like,
I'm in your head.
I'm in your head. And he's like, these are the eyes. And then when he's like, yeah, let's see mine. And then when it cuts to him, he's like, you know, this is the face of a man who's in your head, who, you know, pretty much, you know, you're scared of and all this stuff, and that he knew he couldn't beat him. And, you know, I mean, that was kind of the narrative too, because he kind of, you know, even commentary was saying in the main event with Jey Uso and stuff. We'll get to that, you know, when we get to the main event. But, you know, this was really good. And they're painting Edge as the guy who could really defeat Roman, because it's like, you know, this is the guy who, you know, made Roman, you know, look like he was scared, look like he was actually vulnerable. But, you know, it's at Money in the Bank. It's right before SummerSlam. Unless you're going to continue this into SummerSlam, because I don't think they're getting Cena. I don't think you're getting Lesnar. I don't think you're getting anybody like that. And I don't think Big E is a SummerSlam match, especially when you have Edge right here, right so close to SummerSlam. So I really don't know how they're going to go with this, but I think if you're going to do it to anybody, you almost got to give it to Edge. Like you almost have to.
No, yeah, like, and also like the main thing about it is also how, like, he was able to do these things, like I say, like, the confidence. Roman, he knows like he's gonna beat him. He knows that like he is gonna be the Universal Champion, and also like you just see, like, I love how, like, the face. Oh, this is when you go to Taco Bell, right, Paul? You get like a few taco, you get like the chalupas, you get all of that, and then you feel like the first foul moments. The first, you're like, okay, you know what is about to happen, and then
I would say Taco Bell or like Sheetz Relish, one of the two.
Oh yeah. When you get those like the dollar hot dogs, and you get the relish, all of that. But like, going in all seriousness, great promo by Edge, and he's really convinced that like now it's 1-on-1, and like, he knows he can beat Roman Reigns. So all of that stuff, it was really good. That was the beginning of the show. So then we got to see, like Jimmy Uso, and he's like, like he's right now that we don't get to see, Jay, like he says, well, like I'm gonna be feeling his shoes. I want to talk to my cousin, to my Oos, all of that, and then you get to see Paul Heyman. Like, so.
Don't you love when he calls Paul Heyman Oos? He's like, isn't that some bullshit, Oos? He's like, what's going on, Oos? And Heyman's like, so.
And he's like, just don't call me that, like, yeah, exactly. Like, don't call me that, please. Whatever you do, don't call me that. But like he says, that he's gonna actually like he thinks that he's gonna call out Edge. Like he says like, oh, I want to talk to my brother. We're gonna like my cousin, and he says we're gonna be like the family. I want to stick up by him. All of that. So a pretty good opening of SmackDown. I like this.
And what do you think because before I thought Jimmy was going to be like a wolf in sheep's clothing. Oh yeah, Roman. Oh, you're so legit, and then take him out when he gets real close to him. But it seems like now Jimmy's just all in. Like it seems like they scrapped him ever going against. Yes. And like, do you think that's what they're actually doing, or do you think they're just cooling that down or do you think maybe Jimmy is going to be the one who's all up Roman's ass, and when Jay comes back, Jay's like, nah, fuck this, and then Jay's the baby face again?
It could be. I'm thinking that right now is that he's trying to sell the story. He's trying to make us all believe that, like he might be the one that like, he's going to take out Roman. But like he's just like, in order for him to do that, Paul, he has to just pretty much sell the story. It's like, I'm all in with you guys. It's like, I'm not the anybody's bitch thing over. I'm finally going to be with you guys. I'm aligning to the family and all of that. But we'll see what happens, because like you said, Jay also might play a factor here. But I don't know. It like, for me right now, he's trying to sell that he's with the family. He's trying to convince Roman that like, he's part of them, and now he's not against them anymore.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's what I mean. I almost think I'm like, are they even going to turn him, or is it just he's with Roman now for good, and they, that's it.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't think so. I think that they're just gonna keep playing that narrative that like, oh, I'm all with you guys, but then there's gonna be this big blow up. But they're doing it slowly. So that was the beginning of it. So now tell me a little bit about that we got to hear from Shinsuke Nakamura one more time. Rick
if we must.
The King. I mean, the introduction is great. Seeing Pat McAfee on top of Michael Cole is fine. Also, it's funny. But like we get to see, like, there's going to be a tag match. It's going to be Apollo and Baron Corbin. He's not King Corbin anymore. They took out his name. And why is that, family? Just because there's going to be a gimmick change. They're going to be a whole entire thing. WWE just trademark Happy Baron Corbin around that. So it's going to be a whole gimmick change for him.
Oh my God.
It's just bad. Yeah, I deliver the news. I do it live. The exclusives comes like that. So they had this like Apollo and also Baron Corbin against Shinsuke Nakamura and Big E. So tell me a little bit about this match. But before we hear about how he lost a lot of money, he's not a king anymore. He doesn't have to. He can afford to live like with the king's lifestyle and all of that. So tell me a little bit about this, because it was decent. Like more is like focusing on Baron Corbin more than anything.
Yeah, I mean the match itself was awful, because it's just like, okay, we see these baby faces, we see these heels. Corbin, before he gets in the ring, he's like, King Corbin. Oh, wait, no, I mean Baron Corbin. And they're like, so even the announcer forgot he wasn't King.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that, like you said, like a Vince McMahon had to correct that.
Yeah, I mean, I think no, it was done on purpose. It's because it's all to make a dick out of Corbin, and that's why everybody's like, oh, so like what happened, and like, oh, I lost my all this investments, and then like during the match, Boogs does the same introduction every time. He's like a record. It's just the same track over and over, and he needs to switch it up. He needs to do something different, because the first 2 weeks I'm like, Boogs is legit. Now I'm I'm 1 week away
It's
from being
done.
done. Yeah,
Now
it's
it's
done.
done.
And then he comes out. He's like, oh, whoever has a white, whatever the hell bullshit car
Oh, well, but before
SUV.
this, look at it. That was cool though. Ah! Like how like he was playing the guitar and all of that. And like like at least they sold it. But like you said, it's like you go from seriousness from Edge. That gets you like real professional wrestling. And now you
Yeah,
go with like kitty stuff, more like okay, let's make fun of Baron Corbin and tell me a little bit about this. Whoever
yeah.
has this wild card.
Yeah, so the white SUV or Hummer or whatever the hell it is, they tow it away, and he's like, "So I don't have a car anymore," And then even McAfee said either somebody just straight up Grand Theft Auto'd his car, they're like, or he can't afford the payments on it anymore. So it's clearly the latter because losing a crown in a wrestling show apparently means you don't have any money. So I mean, can I take that crown from Nakamura for a couple weeks and get some money here? Or like I don't understand what the hell this all is. This is so stupid. This isn't going to build sympathy for a guy that people hated for months because he was a
Exactly. And then we have
heel
our
and he
boy.
was annoying.
Yeah, but
Hey,
yeah,
what do we Steven Butler? Pat needs to buy a new pair of jeans. I smiled when Corbin got his car towed, and I want to see the bank for clothes on his house next. I mean, see, that's what I agree. The guy has heel heat. So of course you want to see all this stuff happen to him. You're not going to see this happen to him and then see him acting all depressed like so and feel bad for him. No, you're going to laugh. You're going to hate him because he's an idiot. So,
oh yeah, but
I mean,
what you guys think about this gimmick change? Because like I said to you guys, like it's supposedly going to be like more like like a different guy, and I don't know if like you can do anything with Baron Corbin. Like he sucks. Like maybe with a different character. Hopefully,
yeah, but like you said,
makes sense.
happy Baron Corbin. I feel like that's going to be him. He has to go to like not the anger management, but he has to go to some kind of therapy. And they're like, "Oh, life's legit. Be happy." And then he'll be like some kind of guidance counselor or something.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
It's a bullshit gimmick. But then we see this. Big E gets the pin. 1, 2, 3. At first, what I didn't know what this match was going to be because when Big E and Nakamura just came out, I thought it was just going to be the two of them, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to see two baby faces go at each other. But after seeing this train wreck, I would have rather seen the two of them just go after.
Just clashing, right? But like I say, thank you, Stephen, for being with us one more time, and also I hope that you got your microwave. He was watching a few movies yesterday and all this stuff. Yeah, great man, a great friend of the house. So like Baron Corbin is gonna have like this. Gimmick change, and he needs it. I mean, if it goes that way, but like he needs to go back to kind of like the Lone Wolf, like how we used to be. That was legit, more like intense. Although in the main roster, it never clicked. Remember that he lost the Money in the Bank briefcase. They never did anything with him. But we're gonna see.
And that's another thing too. They mentioned on commentary. They're like, oh yeah, that almost never happens. Like, oh, you must be real bullshit if you cash in and it doesn't work. And
when it comes to him, and then boobs, like it's like, oh man, I got 3 jokes about the king. Like the king size bed, you're gonna sleep on that. And then he also says something about like the crown and like king. And then it was like a king size like Burger King or like something like that. He kept just joking against him. And he's like, oh, so this is what you do, dude. It's like, so when somebody's fall down, that's what you do. Just keep making fun of him. It's like, to you and everybody else, screw you guys. So like you see that like the seeds are being planted.
It's like, oh, so you could do that to other people, but now when something happens to you, now he's like, so that reminds me of somebody else who we used to work with that was bald.
Exactly. Yeah. And every time that something bad happened to him, they're being mean. But when he wanted to be a piece of trash, then we had to just play along with him. And then what do you think about this? One more time.
I mean, this
fine match at Money in the Bank, Paul.
This needs to end. If you're gonna really try to go in on the sympathy gimmick, Corbin needs to lose this match in like 30 seconds. It needs to start. Okay, they do a little bit of wrestling.
And done.
Yeah, and like even Boogs can like distract him, or they can be like, oh, Corbin, like Steven said they could do a foreclosure on his house. It could be a video at his quote unquote house, and they're like, oh, they're slapping the foreclosure sticker on it. As if they could be like, what the hell? Kinshasa done, like, really make an idiot out of this guy. If this thing is competitive and if Corbin wins, it just buries his sympathy push and it buries Nakamura. So
exactly, yeah. So everybody that is watching the new ones, hey, you're the original Raw Break. Thank you for being with us one more time. Comment, let us know what you guys think about the show. Money in the Bank build up. So it's coming. Let us know everything is like. What do you guys think of Baron Corbin? Should he have a new gimmick? You guys happy that he's getting finally the treatment that we all think that he deserves? Storyline quote. There you go. So Paul is changing subjects to go to our girl Bailey. She's gonna have a face up with Bianca Belair one more time. Yeah, family. A lot of matches are just a lot of one more times, but at least they added something different here. She says that like she told us that she was gonna win. Like Rose plan, she pinned the champion one more time. So like she's just saying that like we can see the type of champion that Bianca Belair is, because like when she was the champion, the longest SmackDown champion, it took a long time for her to have a lose. To have a loss. So like she just says that like for her to lose is like her reign is kind of like shady right now, it's shaky and it's rocky. Then Bianca Belair came out, and what did you think about the whole promo?
I mean, everything from Bailey was really good, and you know, Bianca, at least she was better here, because it wasn't like, oh yeah, you know, people my whole life have been telling me. No, she just went right at Bailey and stuff. You know, pretty much said how Bailey's obsessed with her and everything, and then she pretty much says like, okay, yeah, you know what, I'll give you your rematch. And then Bailey was kind of like, yes, you know, I got what I wanted, I tricked the champion. But she's like, we're done just gonna have any match. We're gonna have
we're gonna have an I Quit match. We're gonna have
an I Quit match. So was there an I Quit match for the women? You would remember this more than me. Was there one before or no?
No. That's, I don't know if it's the first one that they've done, but like they have not been a lot of them. And you know, that's a good stipulation though between the two of them though. Is really
exactly, because it's not like a pin. It's like you have to physically be like, I don't want to compete for this belt anymore. You know, I give up. So like I give up the feud. So this should definitely be the blow off match. And then like you could do something big for SummerSlam, whether, hey, you want to do Sasha at SummerSlam, Sasha versus Bianca too, something like that. But you know, I do like this, and Bailey's great, you know, and this feud has definitely been picking up steam. It's been getting better. It's been getting more intense. You know, last week was decent. I don't like mixed match tags, but you know, it was decent. And then, you know, this week was real good. So I'm looking forward to this.
Exactly. No, you know, like pretty much Bianca Belair says like, you know, like I'm tired that like you just keep coming at me. It's like, and Bailey goes, well, I'm in your head now, right? Oh, well, my God. It's like she looks like kind of surprised. That it's like, oh, I'm doing my job. Like you're really like, I'm really in your head. It's like, yeah. So the one way that we're going to do this is just I Quit match. And then Bailey don't hesitate. She's like, you know what? I might quit the WWE, although I love it so much. I might quit a lot of things, but I don't know. And so like you saw that like when Bianca said that, like now kind of like the roles change a little bit. Now Bailey was a little scared, and Bianca is more confident than ever.
Well, Bailey said she never quit any of this, so she's like, you know, I haven't, you know, or this is her dream, so she would never quit. But then, like she said, if she loses, then she might stop doing this altogether. So it's like, you know, what are you trying to say here? Like, what's going on?
Yes, exactly.
I mean, you know, unless Bailey's going to go away for some time off, because it's like, oh, Bailey, you were legit, take, you know, 2-3 months off, whatever. I really don't know.
Yeah, no, we'll see. But like in the end, you know, she said like Bianca is like pretty much I cannot wait to hear your voice, despite how stupid that sounds, because I cannot wait for you to say the words I quit. So really good. I really like this because again, they make the feud, you know, coming from Hell in a Cell. How can you make this even more special? Or how can you keep like the importance of it? How can you make it still meaningful? And I like this. They added like a big stipulation. It makes a lot of sense. I never, like I said, I don't remember an I Quit match between girls. I don't remember. My memory might be a little, you know, bad on this, but I do not remember, you know, this kind of matches. So I'm really excited about it. And let's see what our man Steven says. You know, he says, Google search, like I found WWE and I Quit match between Beth Phoenix and Melina at One Night Stand 08. There you go. Thank you, Mr. Butler. He has like all of the stuff. So like it's gonna be good though. You know, in this brand new era. Remember that Beth Phoenix and Melina is the kind of not even the women's revolution. That's kind of like, you know, one of like the days of like Mickie James, Candice Michelle, all of them. So that's when like the 2-minute matches for the girls. So this in the newer era, this is really good and outbreaking. So good stuff for the girls.
Oh yeah, you know, like I said, I'm looking forward to this match a lot. You know, again, thank you, Steven, for the quick Google search. So you know, this will be good.
Family always helps. You know?
Yeah.
Family always helps. Steven is amazing. So let's go over like, you know, another one. Hey, he's like, you know, it's like he said, like Edge has been talking a lot of crap. You know what I mean? Oos, because not Heyman, Oos. So he's like, you know what? I'm gonna call him out, right? And it's like, oh, it's like a dog. Like this is like wanting approval. And you see the dad. So yeah, just do it. It's fine. Because he says, where's Roman? Where's Roman? He's like, hey, Roman Reigns works at his own pace. And, you know, he does whatever he wants. You know, you don't need to pressure him. You know, but like if you want to go do that, go ahead. So you see that like Jimmy's trying, but again, I think to me it's like it's just, you know, trying to make us believe that. I don't know what you thought about it, but yeah. For me, that's what it is.
And that's another thing too, kind of why I like question this, but I question it back to the original way where I think Jimmy is trying to just gain this favor so he can turn on Roman. And I think that's Paul feels the same way. And that's kind of why he's acting a little bit like kind of rude and just like, you know, not really accepting Jimmy's help. are like wanting to do stuff for him. When it was Jay, it was, oh, okay, you know, it was Jay, Paul, and Roman. That was them. Now it's Jimmy, and he doesn't trust him. So that's why I kind of think he gives him the cold shoulder and everything. But like you said, he's going to call out Edge, and, you know, I was expecting Roman to come back. You know, I'm like, okay, no, he's going to show up at some point or show up in the main event or anything. I didn't think it was just going to be Jimmy and Edge.
Yes, exactly. But like, you know, I think it's just like, again, they don't trust him yet. So like they're testing, you know, they're testing the waters. Like, what is he going to do? What lens is he going to go to, like, to show his loyalty? So I think that's what it's going to be. Let's go to the best match of the night. What a freaking match, and on free TV, and what kind of show? Last Man Standing match. We've seen this guy so many times. You know, you can Google it, and then you have like 10,000 matches from this guy in the WWE. But like this time, at least they made it even more special. So I got to give props to both guys, especially because they told a really great story. The only complaint I will have is just the winner. Because to me, you are burying Fidel Castro even more. You know, if he's already buried in Cuba, right now, he's even buried like way more because Sami Zayn probably gave one of his best performances in WWE, but yet he falls short. Paul.
Yeah, I mean, I would have had Sami win this as well, especially like the way the match went, and like especially right at the end before Kevin made his big like resiliency, you know, comeback. But you know, this was good, and like you said, it was probably better than it should have been. But these guys really, you know, they have such good chemistry, and they like putting on good matches. They're not going to go out there and just phone it in, as they say. They're not just going to give a match like, you know, 7 minutes and done, you know, okay, he doesn't get up. No, they're going to really give you a good match. And that's what they did. And like, you the spot in the picture, he's like, say hi to, I forget who he said.
Say
like,
hi to all my fans, you know, right?
Yeah, boom. And he just like slammed the head in there and everything. I mean, that was good. The intensity, you know, Kevin Owens, he got slammed off the announce table.
And he's all over, Paul. What the hell? Like, he's really banged up.
Yeah, he must be hanging out with Cesaro with that tape. But even McAfee was like, oh, the table didn't even budge. Oh, my God, that must have hurt everything. But no, I mean, like I said, they just beat the hell out of each other. This was good, you know, and especially like when Kevin, like, you know, at the end here, he got thrown through those two tables.
Big spots with the tables. Like, they really took it like to the next level for me for a TV match. You know, we're not used to seeing this type of matches on regular TV anymore. Maybe, you know, back in the day. But like the way that like they did it, like you said, they went at it. They went through a lot of big spots. This one with Sami Zayn is really, really cool. When he did like the Snapdragon onto like the, you know, right there, like almost really close to like the turnbuckle. Really, really good, and also like a very scary move, you know.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, you know, these guys, they trust each other doing all that stuff. I mean, they've been doing it since, you know, Ring of Honor and all that. They're going to keep doing it, you know, probably till the day they retire. But, you know, this was good. And, you know, back to the end when Kevin Owens got put through those two tables, you know, he's the one who set him up. So you knew he was probably going to go through them. But, I mean, the bump looked nasty, you know, going through them. And, you know, he pretty much, Sami Zayn, like, threw him off the turnbuckle, off the top, and he fell through the tables. So then, you know, he gets him back in the ring. And then it was like 3 haluva kicks. And you think, okay, like, it's done, right? Like
that should have been it.
That should have been it. But no, he gets up, you know, Kevin makes his big comeback, and that's when he put Sami through a table, right?
He did put Sami through a table, then he went for like a few pop-up power bombs, he did the super kicks, he did stunners, and then he put him through finally the announcing table, boom, you know, and then he got like the 10 count, he actually beats Sami Zayn in the last man standing, but what a match. You know, and to me, remember what they said like a few weeks ago that Kevin Owens was actually going to take time off. I mean, if he needs it, that's fine. But like, if they're going to tell this type of stories, one more time, you got to give props. Because these guys, if they will use more properly, I feel that like they will actually be headlining pay-per-views, headlining shows, headlining, you know, like brands in the WWE. But like something between Vince McMahon and creative, they don't want to let this thing be the main event. You know?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can really think of, and I don't have a problem with it, but I can understand why promoters and stuff would, is just how Kevin Owens looks. Like, he's not super jacked, you know, he wears a shirt and everything. You know, like I said, is that the guy who you're going to put on, you know, the side of your, you know, truck or on your, you know, big poster, you know, the vans, the buses, the, you know, the billboards that WWE has? Is Kevin Owens going to be the one they put on it, or is it going to be somebody like Roman, Lashley, or Drew?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's really the only thing I could think holding him back. The guy can wrestle, the guy can cut a promo, and he can do those two things better than 90% of the roster.
90% of your roster, exactly.
Yeah, so I don't understand why. And for Sami Zayn, I don't know. Maybe it's because he looks like Fidel. It's probably because he's a little smaller. That's the only thing I can think with him. Because you know, I mean, at least before as like an underdog babyface in NXT, he was the guy for a while.
Oh yeah. No, it was, and but like we get to see like everybody, Morrison, Riddle, we got to see Ricochet, Drew McIntyre, Big E, Kevin Owens. There's 2 more spots left, so it's shaping up to be like a really crazy Money in the Bank, and hopefully we get just a good winner here because I feel like Ricochet could be nice. I don't know about Big E. A lot of people are actually questioning or like expecting that Big E might get the win. I don't want to see that. For me, like maybe Morrison. Although, like, The Miz is going to take it away from him and Morrison will win it. But for me, Ricochet, Riddle will be good too. A guy that, like, is new. Because the Money in the Bank is supposed to help out careers. It's supposed to, like, give you, like, a big opportunity. So that will be great. So now let's see what Steven has to say. We'll put it right there for you, Paul. Best match of the night, but I really, really wish the feud will come to an end. While Kevin goes to Money in the Bank match, Sammy needs to find a new opponent like Apollo Crews. Yeah, I mean, a good baby face on Sami Zayn, right, Paul?
Yeah, I mean, but they won't do that. With Sammy, he'll probably just, maybe feud with Nakamura, lose to Nakamura. Okay, now what? I don't think they really have a plans for these guys. They don't. I mean, if anything, you would have not. I mean, even though this match was good, best match of the night, I would have not had this match. And, maybe they could have both somehow qualified in Money in the Bank. And then they could have fought each other in the Money in the Bank match and been like, I thought we were done with each other. I hate you. And, there's some verbal back and forth in the match between the two of them and stuff. But, they did it here. Now Sammy doesn't, because Sammy would put on a hell of a performance in that Money in the Bank match as well. We said one of the best matches was like him, AJ, and Jeff Hardy. In the ladder match and stuff. Yeah. So, I mean, Sammy's a hell of a wrestler. He's one of our favorites. So I don't understand why both those guys aren't in it because, if anybody from SmackDown's going to win it, it's going to be Big E. So, might as well put both of them in.
And buried the haluva kick. 3 of them is not enough. And Kevin Owens responds to like the 9 count like 3 times in the match. But I mean, despite all of that, we got to be, that was the best match of the night. A great, and Monday Night Raw needs matches like that. So at least people are more enticed, like willing to watch 3 hours of that show. So let's go with Edge. Edge is saying, hey, you know what, like the strategy is here. You know that Jimmy and Roman are going to jump me. Roman pretends that he's not there. No, we've seen this before. I'm going to go out, and then Jimmy's going to come out. I'm going to take care of him, and then Roman's going to jump me, and all of that. It's like, it's fine. Don't worry about it. It's all good because I know that in the end I'm going to beat him. So the storyline keeps going on. That's fine. The picture right there is official. I Quit match, women's championship. Bailey and Bianca. We already talked about that, but we're just going to see really cool stuff between the two. So now, Paul, tell me a little bit about this return. It was like reported today that Zelina Vega was already added to the SmackDown roster page. And yeah, she came back because Sonya Deville said like she's the next member to be added into the Money in the Bank match. And remember, we thought that like Liv Morgan would actually qualify. No, it's still Carmella. So what did you think about this return that like makes a little bit of sense, but in the end, already she loses a match. So let's resume that for me.
Well, I mean, the promo she cut is great. She's such a good promo. She pretty much said that, I know, what did she even say? Like she was something like one of the favorite
said,
women
like
there.
It's one of like the girls that like she's been doing this for the longest time. She's like it makes all the sense in the world that like she's back in the Money in the Bank.
Yeah, and she was real heel because she's like, oh, it's your pleasure to welcome me back here. And Sonya's like, yeah, legit. She's like, oh, you were smart enough to bring me because how bring me back because how great I am, all this stuff. And then like we had Liv Morgan come out and Liv's like, what the hell have you even done? You don't even do anything. Why are you in the match? Called out Sonya again. Like this happened last week with Carmella. None of these women are even wrestling to qualify to be in this match.
Zelina's like hasn't been on SmackDown all year long. She said,
yeah, yeah.
And
then she slapped her in the face, and that really got this thing going. And I thought, there's 2 things they can do. There's the obvious one that they should do is that Zelina wins because to get her over. Or they're really going to keep pushing this thing with Liv that maybe Liv will, she'll keep beating people and she'll get the 4th spot, for the women on SmackDown. And then maybe she'll be the one to win it. Maybe she'll win Money in the Bank. Who knows? Maybe they're really going to try to push her, which would be good for her. But I mean, the match itself, I mean, I thought Zelina looked good. It's always refreshing to see her wrestle. I mean, Liv is all right. I think she's getting better. And this is how you get better by wrestling more. That's how, more practice. But, this was all right. But it's just like you said, the most dangerous move in WWE, the most effective move, the uncounterable, the roll up, 1, 2, 3, Liv wins. And it's like, what does that do for Zelina? Maybe that maybe that was punishment because we know how petty WWE is. Like, okay, we'll bring you back. Yeah, we'll make you legit. Don't worry. But on the way in, you got to do a job because you pissed us off.
Oh yeah, and then there's that where Steven says this is ridiculous. Like Sonya just puts women in the Money in the Bank without even qualifying, and Liv beats two of these women and hasn't qualified yet. I don't like this at all. The one thing, like you just said, that's what I think that they're going to do. They're just going to like build this like story of like, oh, she's been beating everybody else, all these women that are qualifying with not doing anything, and then she's going to go in it and she might win it. Because a lot of people like are actually pressuring and put WWE saying that she should win Money in the Bank. And I feel that like because of what they did to the Riot Squad, Ruby never got a chance. I think it's the opportunity to actually do something with Liv Morgan. Yes, like you said, she's not the greatest wrestler in the world, but doesn't she have fandom? Doesn't she have a lot of people that follow her? A lot.
Oh yeah, no, she does. And then that's another thing too with I just thought it was Zelina. I do like when she said, she could go after the Raw, SmackDown, or NXT title, like if she wins the belt and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of wish Zelina would go to NXT, especially like we said, we think there's going to be a lot of call-ups and everything. But no, I mean, Liv does have a lot of fans. She should get pushed. I don't know if she should beat Bianca or potentially Bayley, or especially Rhea Ripley or Charlotte. I don't see her beating any of them. But even just to win Money in the Bank, and maybe she holds it for a while. You don't have to cash it in immediately. I actually don't like when they do that. I'm not saying milk the gimmick like Carmella and The Miz did, but hold on to it for a month or two. Kind of build this suspense.
And remember, like the one thing about winning Money in the Bank is that it gives you that opportunity that in a regular match, let's say the opponent is better than you, but because the opponent is, you catch him off guard, then he might be a little bit, ready to get the finisher and all of that. So like you will believe that like, she cashes in. Yeah, I mean, because when they have the regular match, maybe she won't win, but because of this, there's an opportunity for her.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if they go that route. So that will be fine. And Steven says, it doesn't make sense, but I think that you've already said it why. Because they're going to give her this big moment. Remember, there's crowds. So, like, imagine Liv Morgan winning. This is going to be one of the best pops of the night. So that's what I think they're going to do. So, like, tell me a little about Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins comes in. Is like, he's really pissed because he didn't get the match at Money in the Bank for the Universal Championship with Roman Reigns. So you see Paul that, like, right there's the seats for the feud with Edge. He's really pissed. He's getting unhinged and all of that.
I like the line when he's just like, like, what the hell? I saw this Edge got the match. It's bullshit. And then they're just like, he's like, or I think first he was like, hello, Mr. Pierce. He's like, I'm Seth Rollins. He's like, yeah, we know who you are. He's like, if you know who I am, then why the hell don't I have this match? Pretty much saying like, I'm Seth freaking Rollins. You know how legit I am, blah, 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 all this stuff. And they're like, yeah, Edge, 11-time world champ. But we like, no, he's a little bit more legit than you. He deserves the match. So he gets pissed off. And they're like, well, you promised me this match. And they said, no, we said we would consider it, but, we decided to go differently. But one thing we can promise you is you're going to have a match next week with Cesaro to qualify for Money in the Bank. So we're seeing this again.
Again, Paul. Again. That's the word we use all the time. Again.
And this kind of scares me a little bit because if the Cesaro push is not over, which I don't think it is, but some people say it is. So rumors, who knows?
The reports, yes.
I hope it isn't, because this would be perfect. Cesaro would be the perfect guy to win Money in the Bank, I think, as well. But if they want to maybe do Rollins, they want to push him as a heel, and WWE loves repeating history, and because Michael Cole is so good at saying those lines, it's the heist of the century too. You know what I mean? I could totally see him doing some bullshit like that. So, I mean, I really don't know what they're going to do, but if it was me, like I said, Cesaro's got to win. He's got to go over, and he'll put on a hell of Rollins would too, but Cesaro would be so great in that Money in the Bank.
And especially because it's like there's crowds, so you need moments. It's the first show with like crowds,
and especially that would be a test to be like, okay, let's fans are reacting to Cesaro on Twitter. Let's see how they react in person.
In live, exactly.
Even though at WrestleMania, I think they, reacted good.
Oh, they already gave you, like everybody, like there's people behind Cesaro, they already given you enough reasons for him to just be, the main event guy, be in the main event all the time, be one of the top guys. But, it's Vince McMahon is like, he's stubborn. He's really narrow-minded. He doesn't want to do it. Let's ask Otis, Paul, what does he think about this push for like Cesaro? Is it over or no? Look at the new look of this guy. This guy is just amazing. And the one thing, when WWE wants to do things right, they can. And the way that like they turn him around, this whole character, the gimmick. Remember Taki? They don't have him talk. He's now he's just a badass. He just kills people. He just destroys. I'm really happy with what they're doing with him, and they have a whole ceiling for this guy as a believable heel. What do you think about this match with like Angelo Dawkins? Quick, how he's supposed to go, big splash, two of them, and the guy completely goes over Angelo Dawkins.
And that's exactly what you needed to do. That's exactly how you push this guy. I see at first him and Gable tag team division. Obviously, they're still in the tag division. They're still a team. But to me, I don't know if you're really not going to push Gable because you're like, this guy's too small. We don't know. Vince doesn't like him, whatever. Just make him a manager. Just whatever. Make him be Otis's manager. Push Otis. Otis could easily squash an Apollo Crews. He could, or if the title goes to Big E or somebody like that, Otis could easily beat them. Otis could easily be your Intercontinental Champion. He could be your U.S. Champion. He could be any mid-card champ, no problem. You could even put him in the main event. Unfortunately, I think people still, like you said, they still remember the Tucky. They still remember the stakes and weights. They still remember the Money in the Bank briefcase filled with, ham. So it's like, are you going to put that against Roman Reigns? I don't know about right now, but if you keep pushing him like this and building him up, I don't see no reason why you couldn't.
Oh my God! Like I said, do you like your pose? Do your new pose, Otis? He loves it. He loves it. Let's see what Steven says. I like the domination of Dawkins and Otis using the Bader bomb to win the match. He's a great heel. Exactly. So we gotta give props. Like WWE is doing something really cool with him. And then at some point, if he breaks out from, like you said, Chad Gable, and then he's just like a singles guy, he can go after like a baby.
Well, I would think. Well, I don't know about that because the way how he doesn't talk and everything, he needs a manager.
Well, no, I'm saying I'm saying he as a tag, and then he just he goes singles, but like Chad does the manager work.
Yeah.
That would be great for if we having the IC champion as a baby face, but this guy is really cool. Even let's say at some point if Edge is supposed to be the champion, I will do like a pay-per-view, not a main one, but like a small one, and then Otis can have like a championship opportunity. Why not? Building the new guys, and especially the fact that he doesn't talk, the fact that he's just as a badass and just destroys people. Why wouldn't you give this guy an opportunity when you know that a lot of people just love the guy? And I'm pretty sure we're not the only ones. Even Steven, we all love him. That he's actually a great heel now.
He's and like we say, there's ways to have a guy get over and still lose a match. If he's in a main event of a pay-per-view against Edge as the Universal Champion, I mean, hey, he's going to get a rub. He's in there with Edge. Not a lot of people say, "Oh, I wrestled Edge."
Exactly. That will be doing a little justice to a guy that, out of in a 5-second decision, you just gave the Money in the Bank briefcase, and then you did this whole stupid thing that he couldn't even cash it in. So with crowds, they would have done it. I believe that. But that's what we have. Good, and the Street Profits are fine. The tag team division is absolutely dead in WWE. We know that the Mysterios are nowhere to be found. It's fine. So it's all good. Exactly, yeah. Christian, well, he's with Jungle Boy. He's with Luchasaurus and all of that. You guys don't believe us? Go watch the AEW Dynamite review. Is in the channel. Thank you so very much for the ones that watch it. Jay, Oos, I'm gonna go cold out Edge. All of that is hey, do it for the family. Finally, Paul Heyman is do it for the family. Be legit. Tell us what you can do. So all of that. So he comes out. He calls out Edge. What did you think about all of this? Because to me, it's really, really good, and it makes both guys look good actually.
Yeah, I mean, this whole interaction was good. Like I said, I was just waiting for Roman. That was the whole thing. It was just waiting for Roman. I wanted to see what Jay was doing. And, he pretty much said, he's just Edge, come out here. This isn't a trap. He's I know that's what you think, and so you're okay, maybe he isn't going to, attack him. But yeah.
So Edge comes out, and then he's well, it's fine. And it's what happened with you, Jay? What happened with you, Jimmy? He's you used to be you're nobody's bitch, and now you just joined the crowd. You're just with the family, do you know what he's going to do? You know what he's trying to make you do? He's manipulating you, all of that. So he's okay, fine. You want me? Well, let's do it. So they went at it, and we got to see the spear. We got to see, he did a super kick onto Edge, but a good interactions between the two. But I like this when he actually went completely rated our superstar, and he went the ultimate opportunist. And he completely took care of him. And we got to see, really, finally, the Spears, I don't know what you think, Paul, but he's not hugging people anymore. Now he's actually pushing a little bit more.
Yeah, so it's not the angry hug.
Yeah, a little bit more. And then we actually put him in the same lock that he did in the kind of crossface with a little bit of piece of pipe. I don't know what it is, but it's like that. He put him into that.
I think it's the leg. It's the leg or the support beam that connects the legs on the bottom of a chair.
There you go.
The steel chair.
Yeah, so like he did that, and he's like, oh, he's like, look at his eyes, Roman, look at his eyes, Roman, and that's why we put it in the title for you, family. And then he's
Look,
like, oh,
doesn't
like,
it look like Edge? Like I think Jimmy actually ate the Taco Bell, and Edge is smelling it on the way out.
oh
Look at
yeah,
that
well,
face.
it's because it's coming out right now.
Yeah.
So like, well, he's like, oh my god, no. But like really cool and intensity from like Edge. And
Oh
he's
yeah,
like,
and they sell the same thing. Like you said, he's like, oh, look at Jimmy's eyes too. It's like,
Yeah.
pretty much Jimmy's making the same face that Roman made, and like, look how easily he was able to make
and
Jimmy
this
submit
is
like
for
this.
what Beth Phoenix wakes up to. So like, I mean, I don't know.
No, that's the face when Beth is like, can we go round 4? And he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
But like now we're being all seriousness.
Yeah.
When the guy hits like the 10 and he has to be legit, prove himself. Edge is like nobody. He can hold his own. Like again, like nobody. Like he's still current, relevant to me. The guy is like, despite like he's like a part-time schedule, he's really great, and he's gonna sell a feud like no one can do it. So he's really cool, and we got to see this. Roman, like you said, didn't come out. Maybe he got a week off. It's fine because again, do you need the head of the table every single week? When you gotta sell this type of story, I feel that when the babyface, when the opponent is good enough, you don't need that. You can take a week off, maybe even do a promo. What did you think?
Oh yeah, I don't think we need a Roman here. Now this can have some more fire to be like Heyman to be like, oh, look what happened when you weren't here. Jimmy went out and was speaking for you, and he got his ass kicked. We should kick out Jimmy and stuff. So I mean, this was good, but I mean, the whole thing was, I still feel, hopefully, I shouldn't say hopefully, but I wish this was SummerSlam. Because I wish you were going to put the title on Edge, because you're not going to get Cena. And if you do, Cena's just going to lose. And, so what's the point of bringing him back? SummerSlam's going to sell out whether it's Cena or not. So
yes, exactly.
I wouldn't worry about that. So, that doesn't mean anything.
If he loses the title, it's going to be bad. If he doesn't win the title, it's going to be bad.
Yeah, so, and then it's just, I feel bad for Edge. I wish, they would do something where maybe it was just Jimmy versus Edge at Money in the Bank, and then and then Edge can move on to Roman at SummerSlam.
Yeah, it makes total sense. He says crazy as Edge took the white out of his beer and looks like a credible challenger to Roman tonight. Good stop to end the show. That's what
Yep, I agree,
says, and we both agree. That's how you.
Like I said, he used some of the Just for Men in the beard, so now he looks legit.
Exactly. Like Beth said, please, you need to like look legit. Like it doesn't matter how you look inside the house.
She's like, can you not look 50 anymore? And he's
like, can you not look like 65 anymore? Like get that stuff. And even they announce it on WWE, like they have the head and stuff, all of that. So really good. And Edge is looking good, but like you said, like the only concern is like he's gonna like win the title. Because if he doesn't, it's like twice now. Because remember, so WrestleMania was the moment.
Or they'll have some. It'll be a stooge wins Money in the Bank, and then like Edge will they'll cash in, and Edge would have Roman beat, but then this guy throws off Edge, and then he goes for the pin, and Roman kicks out, and the match continues, and Roman pins him, and then Edge doesn't get pinned.
Yeah, it would like I would wish that like Edge wins the title, and that maybe you do a triple threat at SummerSlam. That way you're doing good by everybody, because again, like, you lose WrestleMania. That was supposed to be Edge's moment. No, the Money in the Bank, one more time. He looks credible. He looks ready to be the champion. No, then when?
Yeah.
Tell me when, or do you just come back to put people over? Because if that's what you do, I'm going to be pissed, because that's what the Dudleys did. They never became champions one more time. So to me, it's like, if you're going to come back and just help out, no.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. I mean, I'm sure Edge does not care to put people over, but you don't go through all the hell and the training he did, and you don't fight these doctors, and you don't do all this stuff to at least, hey, everything I did, because even he could be like WWE, how much merch did I sell you? How much time do I boost the ratings? When I'm on the show, the ratings go up, just like Roman. I give you guys all this stuff. You're telling me you can't give me one more run with a belt? Because Edge, I think Edge even said in one of the promos, like, it's real to him. Like, this isn't bullshit.
Well, yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, so he loves and respects this. So for him, he doesn't want to just come back to win the belt. To put people over to make money. He wants to win the belt because the belt means something to him.
And also like to mean something, like to give back to Edge, give them the title. Easy, We'll see what happens, but I hope that's not. I hope that he wins it. He needs to win it. Because why is the main reason we don't watch that freaking documentary? Because the ending is not good.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I honestly thought if they were going to do something with Edge,
he would have won Money in the Bank, and then like be predictable, like, oh, he's gonna cash in, on this day.
Yeah,
You know what I
make it
mean?
like memory lane. Yeah, it would have been
Yeah.
it would have been fine. But if he wins, I think everybody's going to be happy. So this is the review for SmackDown family. Thank you so very much for being with us one more time. To the new people that are watching, please hit self-announce without subscription. We love it. We put content every single time. We cover every single show in the WWE, AEW, Impact, NWA. We have it all. So also where they can find us on social media ways.
And make sure you follow us Rope Break on Facebook, OG Rope Break on Twitter, Original Rope Break on Instagram, and of course right here on YouTube, the home of the #1 podcast in the YouTube wrestling community, the Original Rope Break.
Thank you, Stephen Butler, for all your love and support. Thank you to every single one of you. Have a great weekend. Happy 4th. Well, enjoy like the independence of this beautiful nation that we all live in. So you and me have one more thing that is left to say, and that is